Hello, how's everybody? I hope everybody's doing fine. I just got off work and I wanted to do this video or this YouTube on my practice on. I did one before. I think I did two on my bass guitar. And what happened is I was accepted to how can I say? I guess me and a friend at work, we just decided to put a band together. He's out of town now, but he wanted me to play bass. And I never really did bass. In a regular band. I was a singer in the bands when I was younger, but I never did the bass. But to play the bass, I have to play it like like everybody else. But I'm so used to playing. I'm sorry. I gotta put these up. Playing. I'm used to playing like the new method that I came up with, which is animar. Okay, which I call it animar. I didn't really, if you looked at this other video that I did with the bass, me practicing, I talked about animar, and I was saying that I didn't really I put attention to it, but I didn't put it as something important. But I did some pieces on animar music, and it turned out really well. So I said to myself, I figured out, why don't I just see what it is that I'm doing? Because I have a lot of education as far as music is concerned. In animar, it's like, it puts everything together, all right? Ever since I was in grade school, I studied in New York. You have to study music all the time. I don't care. Like in grammar school, you take classes. It was when I was there, and you have to learn music. You have to learn, the regular things in music. Like for instance, the timing, the notes, the pitches, and things like that. So actually, this video is going to be on. I'm going to practice a little bit. It's going to be on my practice, and I'm going to talk about animar. But the experience I have with music, it's a lot. I study music a lot, but like I said, recently I decided to take the way that I do music a little bit more seriously and try to figure out what it was. I didn't think it was important at all because I did some pieces, some music when I first started YouTubing, and I had a lot of songs, but as a singer. But recently, like I said, when I was putting up, doing some pieces like I usually play, I found that they were very good, and I was saying, well, like in the last YouTube, I was saying, but I just do it, you know what I mean? And that's it. But I can't find what I do. But I figured out that if I took it seriously and tried to figure out, what is it that I'm doing, because I would just get on the guitar and just play. And that's what I came from. That's where I got animar from. I had a conversation about the word animar from a friend when I was in college. And I graduated late, as you would know if you've seen any of the other videos. And it was funny. It was this short conversation, but it meant so much to me. I don't know why. Actually, because I was taking music. I was taking music theory. And I was in a library. And I was talking to this guy. He spoke Spanish. And, I speak Spanish poorly, but I've taken a lot of classes. I'm still taking classes in Spanish. And I don't know how we got on the subject, but animar. We were just talking about animar. You know, that kind of that feeling or something about that, and it just stuck with me the whole time. So that's why I came up with the term animar, because it's putting everything that I feel about the piece that I'm working on and putting it into music. It's not developed yet, and I just started developing it. Like I said before, I didn't take it seriously, but recently I knew that I could take it seriously. Because I've had many music theory classes, and I think the music theory class that was the most beneficial to me was when I was right out of high school, and I took this music class. Where in this college that I went to, it wasn't so I mean, it was structural, but they pretty much let you take whatever you want. I mean, you weren't like, it wasn't as strict as nowadays, where you have to take this class, you have to take this class, you have to take this class. But I took a music theory class, and it's just by coincidence that I got this professor. He was the head of the music department there. It was a community college, and he was great. He let me into the class, and I didn't know what was going on at all. And he still let me just stay in the class, which was very good. I think they should do that more, you know, especially for people who don't know exactly what they want to do. Just let them sit in classes. But it was a serious, because I mean, I didn't know if I could do it. I think I ended up dropping or whatever, because it was just a blast. It was so much. And I still remember being in the class, but I took this professor. He was so practical. He knew all this information, and yet he was so practical. And this is going to put in, I'm right now talking about this animar method that I came up with. And, but I don't think I would ever find a professor like that again. And then I took one of his piano classes, and he had everybody say, what does music mean to you? His classes were jam-packed. And it was maybe like, I can say it was let me see. It was a small room. I can't really say how many feet or whatever. But it was, I mean, it wasn't like a teeny tiny class, but it was like a small class, but not a small, just a medium-sized classroom, I guess. And he made everybody, one by one, say, what does music mean to you? And everybody said what music meant to me, what music meant to them. And when it came to me, I said, he said, why do you want to take music? And I go, because I want to know more about myself. And it's funny how that little class can have such a profound effect on you later on. And I still took those classes, but now I can see, in hindsight, or whatever you want to call it, that I was a composer type, okay? Because I started doing music, but I started creating like songs and things like that. And my mind is more geared to creating things. So that's another aspect of animar, is that it's rough drafts of what a song, is, okay? And right now it's rough drafts, you know, and so I had to have theory. So in order to create this animar, I had to have a lot of theory, okay? I played with the piano. I never, like I said, I didn't notice that my mind was, I'm talking about as time went on after this class, and I kept doing these things. And I kept finding myself, you know, studying on the piano. Because where I lived, you could go on any piano, I mean, they had so many pianos. it was kind of a rich area. And I could go from piano. I mean, every day I could go, and like I went so many times, maybe like every day, and I would practice on the piano. But the way I didn't realize now I can realize how my mindset is, because I kept just drumming those keys, just key after key, looking for something. Actually, I was looking for what it is. What is this music? You know, like I told the professor, I said I wanted to know, more about myself. I did this for years and years, and I kept taking music classes. I always took music classes. I took many theory classes, and around that point in time when I was in the community classes, I was in a band, a pop band, or I guess you can say, and I wanted to take music. Because I was a singer, and I wanted to take singing classes. And I got hooked up with this other professor, and but you had to do. It was like you had to. I forgot all the terms and everything, but you had to take a half an hour class or a 45-minute class in vocal training, and I just wanted to help my band. And when I took her class, she liked my voice, and she wanted to train me classically. And I started training classically, even though I was in the pop music, but I didn't feel any. I just went along with it. I was very young, but I was like, I'm going to do it, you know what I mean? Because it was so much technical. When I say technical, it's not bad when something is technical internally. Something technical, like, for instance, making a machine and everything, that's a different kind of technicality, or on your telephone. But when you have something technically inside, like, for instance, structural of the classical vocalist, it's something amazing. And that's what amazed me about the classical vocalist. So I continue to do that, and that's more music. But the only reason why I didn't stick with, as far as I can read music. I mean, to get the gist of what the song is supposed to be and how the beat is supposed to go, but I didn't hold on to so many of the concepts, and learning that this goes this way, this goes this way, this goes this way, this is this note, I mean, this is this, how can I say, scale, and all this other stuff. Because now I can see that I had more of a creativity in music that I had to do. So I would basically want to learn what was music. And like I said, I would drum at these keyboards on piano, regular piano, acoustical piano. And also, I found out with the classical music is everything is internal. Forget it. I mean, I can tell you right now, if you're a real classical vocalist and you're caught up in how the reading is so much, it can take away from your vocals, your feeling, because unless you learn how to do the vocals and then excel in your reading, because you have to read what's going on with the music inside of you. So that's one of the basic, I'm not going to say other people, one of the basic reasons why I became more trained internally, and I kind of didn't put too much emphasis on scales and what key I was in and things like that, although I stay in key and stuff like that. But not just that, I was also creative, and I could make lyrics and things like that. So I pretty much concentrated on the natural ability of singing and what happens when you sing. And not just that, but I have different, how can I say, ranges. So going from one range to another and all these things. So all of that is my influence that I have as far as making this new technique of playing, which is animar. Okay. And before I became serious about animar and studying it now, so now when I play, I see what I'm doing instead of just saying this is just something that I'm just doing. And now I figured out that it's everything that I've learned in music that's in animar. Because one of the last videos I did, when I was studying the bass, it's on one of my bass practices in a former YouTube. I said, I have to play the bass regular like everybody else to be in this band, but I play like animar. I play this. I didn't say animar because I didn't come up with the decision. I said I just play by this feeling that I just get, and I just play. Well, now it's different because when I'm doing it now, I say, what is it that I'm doing? And now I've got like changes. I can see changes, how I do changes. I can see how I'm creating something, and I use all of the things that you find in theory. However, in music, and when you read music, you notice that there's a feeling that has to be explained, like it's this fast or it's slow. It's like those, I don't know the name for it, but it's like fast, slow, sadly, like this. But the animar actually concentrates more on that, on those feelings, like for instance, happy, excited, fast, and all the things I learned. And I know how to slow down, I know how to use volume and all those things like that. They just assume that in regular music, it's not assumed in animar. So now since I've started the animar, now I don't have a problem finding it, okay, because I started taking it seriously. And I know that animar is going to be a very good technique, okay, because it just involves so many things. I'm actually going to do 2 songs. I try and do a 2 or 3 songs a week. And every time I learn something more about animar, if I don't do a song, I still practice the animar, okay? So some of the things I learned was, how the emotion, how the animar, the emotion is put into a rhythm or a beat, okay? That's some of the things that I picked up already. And it utilizes everything. It utilizes whatever it can while still playing the guitar. I mean, I don't want to it still has to be played as if it's a guitar, but it utilizes pretty much everything on a split second. And the only reason why I could come up with different music with the animar is because, like I said, I'm a composer type minded person. I didn't want to take composition for that main reason. It was hard for me because I did have more interest in fast, slow, feeling sad, happy, things that you're going to find in animar. So if you can stick with me and see how animar develops, it's going to be very interesting. Now that I know, another thing I learned about animar is that I know how to get there. Before I didn't know how to get there because I wasn't taking it seriously. Now I know how to get there. And then I didn't know how to sing with it, and I learned how to sing. I know how to sing with it. At first, it would be just like by chance I could sing with the animar, but now I know how to sing with it. I know how to it's like I'm learning how to control the emotional states of animar. But now we're going to get into this practice, because this is about a practice of my guitar practice. Like I said, my friend once, he gave me a real good deal. I mean, it's an old guitar, but he gave me a very good deal on the amp and the bass, because he wants me to play in the music, wants me to play in the band. And the first thing we're gonna do is just like jam, but I'm so serious about music and stuff, I don't want to just jam, but I have to show him how I can do this bass. One thing I want to say from the beginning is that I find that the bass and playing the guitar regularly is easier than actually playing animar. Animar is, you have to be split second. It has to be split second. And when I do the animar, I don't like waste time on practicing. Okay, I mean, like, for instance, I'm going to do this way, I'm going to practice. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with knowing exactly how you feel about this how can I say this I don't want to say feeling about the topic of what you're going to sing, the animar, you know. Like I got one on electricity, okay, and it was exactly how I felt about electricity. When I say electricity, it's just very sublime. It's very very abstract. But our mind and our feelings are very abstract also. But when you're in the mood of being abstract, abstract becomes concrete. Okay, and that's what it's about. So anyway, like I said, it's easier. It's easier for me. And then I said to myself, well, because I had to make these fast decisions, and I was seeing, now this person's out of town, but every time I would, you know, see him at work, he would go, well, how are you doing with this? And he asked me some questions, you know, like this question and that question, and I was able to answer it. So he was pretty sure that I could do it. And then I came to the point, once I figured out that, hey, you know, I don't want to throw away animar. I don't want to throw away my technique, because I still love it so much. When I came up with that, I figured that it's easier for me to do the bass. Like I said, one time I did play the bass, but I played it in like that kind of animar style when I was at work. It's when I worked at this place called, this computer place, and I told you about it last time. So it's actually easier to play to play the bass, to learn the bass the way, you know, everybody else plays bass, because animar is like all that time I was telling you about, all the experiences that I had in music, I put it into animar, and it's coming technically. And like I said, I'm a classical vocalist. I studied that for many years. I had like 20 different voice teachers. I could go through some voice teachers. Just in the past 3 years, I've already made, let's say the past 5 years, I've been through I guess around, okay, actually two vocal coaches. They have vocal coaches and classical, vocal coaches. So I keep up with that all the time, and it changes. The voice changes all the time. So anyway, so this is the reason why I'm saying it's easier. It's just easier because everything is given to you. One thing about regular music is that everything is given to you. I mean, I mean, the pitches are all in place. This isn't like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, these are this. Now, this is my thinking in animar kind of a language. Okay, animar is more difficult. Um, animar, you have to move from this whole thing, and the regular music you don't have to. So, like I said, he was asking me questions, and I was able to fulfill all of his questions. Then he told me the last thing he said before he went out of town was, "Yes, you're making me excited. I know you can do it." So this is how I got to so far. First, I do this. I do the, and I might give you some ideas also. I do the strings. Never in animar, you don't really look at anything. I mean, like sometimes I look, but I don't, it's I don't know exactly what it is yet that I'm looking at when I actually look. But you don't want to look on what you're doing in animar, because everything is internally. It's what you're actually doing to produce the sound. It has nothing to do with anything else. Okay? Which is, if you think about it, it's more complicated than the guitar. Guitar, you just have to do certain things. You have to fulfill certain complications. And if you keep doing it, it becomes basic. So I got the 4, and I keep the 4, and that's what I'm doing now. Because I'm kind of like training myself to think in a more basic manner. Because the way that we play the guitar and everything is more basic. It's repetitive, but it's just basic. So here we have the 4. And that's what I came up with. I've been practicing every day. And I got the 4. I don't have the sound. I'm not going to do the sound yet. But I can hear it. I don't think that you're going to hear it. But I don't really want to hear it yet. I still have to get a cable. Because the cable he gave me, when before he sold it to me, he told me, he goes, we used it, he showed me that it worked, but then he said, well, but that's my cable, I'm sorry. So how am I going to use it? So anyway, he brought a cable, but it didn't really work, so I had to get a cable, which I wasn't interested in anyway, because that's another thing that I do, is I don't play when I'm practicing. Okay, I'm not going to say I don't. I'm just going to say right now, I didn't want to hear, because from the animar, you don't really concentrate. I mean, you have to listen, you have to know how the sound is, but you're more like shaping sound. But in order to make sound, you have to make movements, and you have to be more articulate with the movements that you make. So using animar, I just do these 4, that's it, okay? And you could do the 4 so many times, and this is open string. And you could do the 4 so many times, and I know from all the different things that I study, you see how all the things I study on this YouTube, on my channel, you see that I pretty much listen to my body, or listen to the way I do things, you know. So I'm doing these 4, and what I wanted to state really is that the way that and I don't want to say everybody, I just want to say the way that I take in, and I know to go to the next step, is that I automatically switch to something else. Because if I keep doing this 4, okay, and I keep doing this 4, and not looking, if you look, you're going to lose a lot of eye contact. In animar, you need eye contact. You need to show something. And like I said, I think when I'm looking down this way, which I haven't came up with, it's more of a sincerity about, hey, I'm doing this and this is serious. So you don't want to look, and I don't want to look when I play the bass. It's actually easier after a while, because um, you can do other things, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like touch typing. If you touch type, you can go faster, and you can actually, not that you can go faster, but you can do other things, you know? So, and then I was saying, like, automatically, because I've done this so many times, I did so many exercises. Even when I was telling you I was playing the piano all the time, I would do make exercises for myself. What happens is that I automatically switch to another gear. So I'll keep doing this okay? And then I know that I'm gonna switch to another gear. I don't know what the gear is, but I know it's gonna be something different. So I pretty much stick to that. I remember one time I skipped. But I don't want to do it. One of the major things is that I don't want to do it by telling myself to do it. I want to feel that I want to do it. That's another thing in animar. You don't do things like because this is this way. You do it because this is the way it's feeling, okay? So here we go. It has nothing to do with jazz. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And if you think about it, you just have that same measurement. I mean, all of them are the same distance apart. It's like walking up and down the stairs. You ever walk up and down the stairs and you don't even think about something, and then I don't know, in life, you come across stairs that are not the same size, like maybe they're smaller, like they're closer together, the steps, and you kind of like enjoy it, but you have to kind of like, oh wow, these steps are different sizes. Or sometimes they're too big, and you have to think about that too. Or sometimes you skip steps, you know. So it's like that. So, but you can skip steps because you don't have to look at it. You just know, because you did this measurement like constantly. It's like a natural part of you. Okay. So here we go, and that's what I keep doing. I just keep doing that, but it has to be done every day. Now, another thing too, if I just come to a key, if I just come to a string, okay, if you don't look, you can kind of tell because of this and because of this is this, okay? Because your hand is like here, and you're actually measuring everything. If you don't look, you're actually measuring everything. Like where your other hand is. It's actually, you think it's not doing anything, but it's actually doing something. And the stretches in this, okay, you're actually doing all of that if you don't look. So that's what I'm gonna do. Then after that, it's more like mathematics. It's like it's the mathematics, natural form of mathematics, because you've done it so much. You can say, well, if I stretch this I'll do like 3. Like for instance, I go here. I know I'll do this. Okay, I do this one. But see how I can find it by going like this. Like right now, I'm still not ready to do like skips very easily. Okay. So anyway, so that's the first open key. Then what I did, that's what I've done so far. Then the other one, which I gotta get over here, or maybe I can move this. I'm gonna move this just a little bit so you can see. Okay. Wow, I didn't know that the thing was that small. But anyway, I'm gonna do it so that you can see it. So now I'm still not looking. Then I did this finger. Okay. And I did this one, and I want to keep it on the same fret, okay? But in animar, using my technique as an animar, it doesn't really, I mean, you want to know that it's on the fret the right way. But if it's not, you have to feel it. You have to, if I'm off fret, you don't say, no, don't be off fret. You go, oh, wow. See, like, if I'm too close to the center, I'll hear this other sound, and I go, oh wow, I can use that. But let me get back on the center of the fret, or the right part. So you kind of like find locations. It's like this. It's like you think, like, oh, you moved into a new, say you moved to a new city, and you moved into a new apartment. Think about all the things you have to learn automatically, and it's like that. Well, look at this as your new apartment, okay? The guitar is like an apartment, okay? Or a map. It's either a map or an apartment, and you're finding your way around. So that's, I mean, if I go off the center a little bit, and I know that I'm off the center, it's good. If I'm off the center, I go, oh wow, I learned that about this. It's just like you're in this new apartment and you go, oh wow, this has a door. Or oh wow, this has a extra window here. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the technique that I'm using. And I got that from Animar. So Animar is a little bit more, it gives you you have to know a little bit more, okay? Okay, and you see that? So then after that, I went to the next finger and the next fret, okay? And so, in getting your fingers used to, I do believe that he said, my friend said you have to have calluses, which somebody told me that before, okay? Which is important, but you also, I think the most important thing is getting your fingers used to that you have this new thing that you have to do. I don't know if it's so much the callus, but you still have to get your fingers used to feeling those feelings, you know. And I guess it's making calluses, I guess. With the bass I'm talking about, because the bass strings are really, it's really hard. It's a little bit stronger than the regular guitar. So now I'm on the second one and second finger. And you notice I didn't talk anything about, I don't know how long this is going to be, but I have to do this. And you notice I didn't talk anything about scales or anything. I already know this has scales and things like that. But we're doing this the animar way, which is getting to know where everything is first. And after we get to know what everything is first, we can then we can add the names and things like that. Like for instance, say if you move into a house, say if you're rich and you move into a mansion, okay, you can actually name rooms. Oh, this is gonna be this. This is gonna be that. This is gonna be this. But first, you might want to just live in it for a little while before you come up with the decisions, or you come up with decisions based on other things. So that's why I'm not gonna think about names and things like that. I want to be able to get around this new apartment. I'm gonna call this like guitar now, like a new apartment or a house. Okay, that concept. And so now I do this finger, and I do it on the third one. But another thing too, I'm not too such of a stickler on it, because I'm not looking at it. I mean, I've been looking at it because I've been explaining it to you. Explain to you third finger, but I don't really care. If it's, as long as I'm using the third finger, I don't care if it's on the third or the second, but I want it to be on the third. But the reason why is because they're all basically one after another. So if I think about just the finger and where it's going, I can learn more, and I can apply. If I'm at this one, I can apply it to this one, okay? So now, that's why you don't want to look, because you want to be able to find it by knowing it. So now I'm on the third one. But like I said, I don't really care. I mean, I just say I'm on the third one. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to figure out later on that it's the third one. And you don't want to say anything about notes. Everything is about the actual thing that you are doing, okay? And now I'll go to the third one, which is the small one. It's hard for me to get used to this one. I'm doing a third one, and you can see which one I'm on if you can really pay attention that much. The only thing I'm worried about now is making sure I come in contact with the string and I push it down. Like, I know that this is off, okay? But listen to that. See, like an animar, this would mean something. But now, okay, like, because that happened, I can get, oh, wait, let me move over a little bit. You don't want to look and say, oh, it's not in the middle, because then you're recording that you have to look. So the only thing you want to record is what you're doing. So the most important thing is actually, I guess, getting that callus or whatever, or getting used to those strings. And like I said, you know you have to move it over a little bit. But the major thing is you're learning where the positions are by feeling. So you're actually, another thing too is you're getting your fingers used to feeling things like braille, you know. So now I'm here. I don't know where I'm at. I'm just here. I don't think about where I'm at, but I'm gonna go do my other thing that I can't. The last part of my practice is I'm gonna go from the small finger up to the open string on one string, on all of the strings. So I'm gonna go there, and I know just by doing this already, which I've already picked up, is the spacing already. It's already recorded because I never look. If you look, it's totally different. You ever heard of the expression, look but don't touch, okay? When you touch something, it's totally different than just looking, okay? So, just to have this story, because I always tell the stories, I remember I had this, just so you can get the point concrete in your mind, as far as looking and touching. I remember when I was young, I was working this restaurant, not a restaurant, it was very nice, like a 5-star hotel. And there was this console, like this big wooden piece of furniture. And I said to myself, I just wanted to touch it. I don't know why. And I was working, I said, I'm gonna touch that thing when I get a chance. And I went over to it, and you know, it was a picture. It was done very well. And I said, it's a picture. But that's not me. Seeing is not, I mean, when you see something, you want to be able to feel it too. So that's why you want, and when you're looking at it, it's a different perspective, okay? So you don't want to get confused by what you're seeing. So you want, I'm doing his, I think I'm at 4, I think I did 4 frets, but I'm gonna go up. But look at, I jumped, because I already know that there's a spacing. I didn't go right from here to here. I just know that there's a spacing because I've been doing this without looking, and I've been getting down the spaces. And now I'm just doing it, okay? I'm just doing this, all the fingers now, okay? But I don't care if it's down or whatever, but I know that I'm gonna find the open fret, where the open fret is. Because I'm gonna up, and then I'm gonna move this up because I know I'm not on a 4th fret. I can feel that. And I'm gonna wait until I feel the fret. And I looked, but, you know, very little bit. Okay, but now I know I'm on the fret. I just know it. I know I'm on the fret, the first one, because it's different, but it's all the same measurement, sort of. And that's what I'm doing. So now I know the spacing. I know I'm getting used to the spacing in between frets on that one. So then I'm going to the next string. I'm doing all this by not looking. Just so I'm getting to know the apartment, okay? Because these fingers have to learn this apartment, this floor that it's on. I'm going to go to the next one. And like I said, if I'm down here, If I make a mistake and I want to go down, because I can move up, and I'm learning something else. I can move up from there. And I just don't find it I move up. Like I said, wow, this is still not the first fret. I slipped. And now I know that this is the first, the open fret. I'm by the open fret. And then I could do, wait, am I doing, or I'm supposed to be on the second one or the third one, I'm not sure. Let me go back to the second one. And then when I get to the first fret, I'm going to do the open fret. Okay? And I'm not really listening yet. But that's another thing. In the background, I'm listening. Right now, I'm mostly worried about just obtaining information. This is what I'm basically doing, is obtaining information about the bass guitar. Now I'm on I went to the next string. And like, I didn't do this first. The first thing I did was I went through each finger. I took a day. I just studied a little bit by a little bit. I worked on this finger, then this finger, then this finger, then this finger. Then I decided to work the fingers, okay? So now I gotta find where I'm at, which is the third string from the top, and I'm gonna do that one. And this class is almost, I mean, not class, I'm not calling this a class because it's my class, my practice. This practice is almost over. It's a long practice because I did this video. Now I'm gonna go up to the next one, and then it's gonna be over. I do it every day. It doesn't really take that long. Now I'm taking long because I'm doing the YouTube video. So I hope, and I can see, and I'm gonna look, I'm not gonna even look. I'm gonna make the last one, I make sure that I'm on this last fret. And I can see it, pretty much you get to see more and more every time you do it. Now I just wanna move up. I just wanna move up to the, and make sure I'm on the fret, and that's it. Okay. And that was the practice. So I'm using the animar method to play this bass guitar, and I'm gonna keep up with this, how the band is gonna be and stuff like that. Pretty much I'm gonna get through this. Then once I know where everything is, like I said, I'm just basically figuring out where everything is. Once I figure out everything is, I could call it, since I made it like an apartment, that concept, and then I'm gonna be able to add like, oh, this is this note, this is that note. I probably won't worry about it unless somebody asks me to do something. If they say do this major or something like that, then I can relate it now to my getting to know the apartment. So I hope you enjoyed this YouTube. This is one. The thing I like about this YouTube, because I talked about animar, which is something very dear to me, and we're gonna see how this band works. I'm almost sure it's gonna be a jam session first, but if they don't do anything serious, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do, but I'm almost sure that they're gonna be serious and we're gonna make some money off of it. So I hope you enjoyed this YouTube, and it was very serious about how the animar has developed, and how I'm developing my playing on this bass guitar. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a good one. Just enjoy your life. Thank you.